Okay, so building the harness. As I mentioned, this is our DMX wireless transmitter receiver. It's got an LED and then a little button to change the channels. When it has power, the LED color changes according to what channel it's on. This is the wiring harness for this device. It goes like this. And you can see that our order is yellow, white, black, red. If we look at our board, however, you can't really see it. I've investigated it, but it's the same order here. It's ground, transmit, receive, 5 volt. So ground, transmit, receive, 5 volt. I'm not a professional electrician. I'm a hobbyist. To me, ground and 5 volt are red and black. This harness is not in the right order, so I'm going to fix it so that it makes sense to me. I'm sure some of you will tell me that, you know, there's standards or whatever, but whatever. Like I said, I'm a hobbyist. I'm just doing this to work. So I'm just going to switch my black and yellow. In order to do that, if you look in here, it's very small, very difficult. But right there, if you stick a very tiny screwdriver, you can push down a little tab and the wire will slide out. Then I use a needle to make sure that the tab is angled up again and put it back in. I cannot hold the camera and do that, so give me a second and I'll take one out and show you. Alright, so that's a serious pain in the ass sometimes, but let's see if this will focus. That's what you get out. Now you can't see it right now, but on the top side there's supposed to be this little tab sticking out. It kind of got pushed in when I took it out. So I'll use a little pin to pull it out. So I don't know if you can see this, but I used a pin trying to get a background that works out. So you can see that little tab pushes up a little bit on the top. That's important. That's what locks it into the plastic. That's what that little tab is, what I had to push down through these slots with the screwdriver in order to slide the wire out. Don't break it, because then it won't lock back in place. So I'm going to put this back together. Okay, so we got that back together. They just slide back in there. That little tab locks in on the plastic. And then I have black, white, yellow, red, which makes more sense to me considering it's ground and then transmit, receive, and power. Sorry, ground, transmit, receive, power. So next thing we'll do is I'll strip all these ends a little bit more and get them prepped for soldering. Okay, so I just stripped the ends and that's it. I did not tin these wires. And I know some of you probably yell at me. Like I said, I'm just a hobbyist. The reason I didn't tin the wires is because those holes are really, really small. And my soldering skills are not that good. So I stick just the raw wire in there and then I solder it from the bottom side. And then I'll trim it up after that. So if we look at this little board, it'll say right on top there, V out and ground. The other side says V in and ground. So that's your voltage in and your ground and your voltage out. So we're going in 12 volts, coming out 5. I'll show you this side later. Right now we're going to work on this. So what I'll end up doing is, maybe I can prop my phone up a little here. I'm going to take the wires. Well, here, I'll just give you the idea. I'm going to put the red wire through the V out, the black wire to that matching ground here. Then I'll solder them up and I'll show you that. Alright, just to show you, I got my wires going through there. Hard to focus, these components are small. The wires through here, and I'll just dab a little solder on there and they'll be done. I'll show you. Alright, just a quick look. Got those soldered up right there. Doesn't take a lot, just a little drip. Then I'll use my cutters and we'll trim that up. Got those wires trimmed up. Connection's good and strong. Tugged on them a little bit, feel good. Not trying to win any beauty contests. Just getting it working. Alright, let me turn it this way. Alright, so we got our power out and ground out to our harness, which goes to our wireless DMX board. We'll worry about that in a minute. We're going to come back to this. This is our data transmit and receive. I know from testing, this was that PC wire, you know, just a little PC jumper wire I found. Just like I showed you with changing these wire orders, I did the same thing on this. The only difference is I didn't have yellow and white, but the black is the same. Anyway, we're going to jump, or it's going to be the other way. Yellow to blue and white to red. I know that just from testing. I can show you that when we do the assembly. If you look on this, you'll see the numbers 1, 2, 3. So on a DMX controller, which is like an XLR, I'm not sure if I have one here, hang on. It's like an XLR cable. So you got, you know, pins 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So you can match them up that way. I did some testing on a test unit of mine. So what I'll do is I'll tap into these. Sometimes I end up just cutting them, and then I'll solder the yellow to blue, and then the white to red. I already got the heat shrink on there, so I'll just slide it over and heat shrink it. Show you in a few. Alright, well, I'll try to give you a shot of this. It's really hard to see this on my camera, but as you can see, I have my white wire jumpered in with my red, my yellow jumpered in with blue. I'll add just a touch of solder, and then I'll slide the heat shrink on, shrink wrap or whatever, heat shrink, and we'll show you that in a second. Alright, there you have it. Yellow in with blue, white in with red. It's all in there and soldered and ready to go. And that'll plug into the main board on the light. I'll show you, that's our DMX. And then just to make sure that I didn't have to cut anything on the light itself, so we can take the old cable and plug the old cable in here. That to where the cable originally went. Then we got our data send and receive from our wireless board, and then our power over here, and then I'll show you how to get power to this guy so that everything's powered in the next video. See ya!